how to stop violence in the U.S. Shalom, first and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to a lesson which is going to be relatively short. Just wanted to answer a question here. And this is a question that is often asked by people. How do we stop the violence in the United States? Well, first off, you can't, because the ones in power have a violent mindset. And when you have a violent mindset, your first priority is to cause chaos, mayhem, confusion, and violence on the planet. So nobody on this planet can stop violence in the United States. Furthermore, if we come over here to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2, it says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn." The wicked are the Edomites, and that's presuming to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Now let's go to Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds." Who works iniquity? Who devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds? The so-called elites. Okay? Furthermore, when you look up the word evil means what? Bad times. Well, guess what's a part of bad times? Violence. Okay? So the people that's in rulership, they are corrupt. You know why they are corrupt? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 14, verse 1. This is why they are corrupt. To the position, a psalm by David. "The fool have said in his heart, there is no God. Therefore, they are what? They are corrupt. They have done abominable works." Abominable works. Who have done abominable works? The so-called elites, which are technically the heads of the Illuminati. Okay? These different members of the Illuminati, the higher echelon of the Illuminati, they have done abominable works, such as what? Homosexuality, pedophilia, having sex with little children, bestiality, drinking blood, semen, okay, committing cannibalism over dead corpse, and all kind of weirdo acts that I would rather not mention in this video, because, if I say too much, the video will probably get taken down, because, Esau is a F-A-G-G-O-T. There is none that doeth good. So you want to know how to stop violence here in America? I'll tell you how violence is going to be stopped here in America. This is how violence is going to be stopped here in America. Let's go to Revelation. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go to Google. It should have been popped up here by now. Okay. Google.com, and let's type in Bible thus with violence, KJV. You want to know how to stop the violence here in the United States? This is how you stop the violence here in the United States. Revelation 18, verse 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city. Who's that great city? The United States of America is that great city. So thus with violence shall that great city be thrown down, and shall no more be found at all. That's how that's how the violence is going to end in this city. It's going to go down in violence. Why? Because it was built on violence. Numbers chapter 35, verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. And the land cannot be cleansed by the blood that is shed therein, but by who? But by the blood of him that shed it. So this kingdom, this wicked kingdom that we live in today called Babylon the Great, was built on violence. Okay? And what's the main violence that's going to bring this kingdom down? Well, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, which is the United States of America. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend at her, shoot at her, spare no arrows. What are those arrows? It's not talking about real arrows. It's not talking about actual arrows. Those arrows is a dark saying, a metaphor for intercontinental ballistic missiles, which are going to be shot off by Russia, North Korea, China, Turkey, Germany, NATO, India, Iran, North Korea, and every other country which is going to be at war against the United States and the so-called Israelis during World War III. So what do you think the Bible is saying when it says shoot at her, spare no arrows? It's talking about shoot your intercontinental ballistic missiles on this wicked country. And according to the book of Revelation, this country is going to be hit with 200 million nuclear warheads. Okay, that's how this country is going to go down. That's how the violence in this country is going to end. It's going to end with the war that's going to end all wars. For she hath sinned against the Lord. Okay, but we also cannot forget about that. Let's get Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. This is also how violence is going to end in this country. Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he is Yahawashai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. He cometh with clouds. The clouds are talking about the chariots. What is a chariot? A chariot is a vehicle that you use to travel around in. In this case, the chariots that you see, that you hear mention of in particular parts of the scriptures, is talking about UFOs. Okay, those are the chariots. Those are the clouds of the Lord. Okay, behold, he cometh with clouds. He cometh with chariots, what the world calls UFOs. And Yahushua, when he returns, he's coming back in the most greatest, most biggest so-called UFO you've ever seen. Okay, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Why is everybody going to wail? When you're wailing, that means you're screaming, you're panicking, you're hollering, you're peeing on yourself. There's boo-boo falling out of the leg, your pants leg, while you're running down the street. People getting zapped of powder. Why do you think people's going to be wailing for? Because they're going to be getting zapped of powder by so-called UFOs, while the nuclear warheads are raining from the sky, and the Lord's elect is getting beamed up. So guess what? This country known as the United States of America is going to be destroyed by who the world calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahushua. Okay, and UFOs, the angels, who's going to be traveling around in UFOs, zapping people, buildings, streets, you name it, all getting set on fire, getting burnt to the ground. Military airplanes getting zapped out of the sky, falling towards the ground, falling on people, babies, children, parks getting set on fire. Okay, and then on top of that, the nuclear warheads is going to annihilate this country. And to put the icing on the cake, let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 19. So after the post-nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, after this place has been destroyed by Yahushua and his angels, after the fire and the smoke goes out on this country, Isaiah 13 and 19, in Babylon, which is the United States of America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And how was ancient Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? By fire and brimstone. The modern day fire and brimstone is going to come in the form of what the world calls nuclear warheads. So after the nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, according to biblical prophecy, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. You see that? So this country will never be inhabited ever again. So you want to know how to stop the violence in the United States of America? But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, because this country is going to be a desert after the post-nuclear destruction of America. Y'all love making videos about Mars and how it's this big red desert. Well, guess what? Basically, you're showing the future of America, because that's what America is going to look like after the Lord is finished with this place. It's going to look like one big desert with all the fire and smoke gone. And the only thing the only creatures that's going to be living on this country after the nuclear destruction of this country, it's going to be desert-like creatures, such as what? Wild beasts, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. Was an example of doleful creatures. Cockatrices, okay? Hyenas. Whoa, wait a minute. How the fuck is a hyena going to survive? Shut the fuck up, okay? First off, we're going to have spiritual power. Lord's will, if we're of the elect. We're hoping to be of the elect, because guess what? We're going to be able to recreate hyenas. We're going to have all kind of desert animals over here, okay? Peeing and shitting on the graves of these dead people, you know, and enjoying their lives on this country, okay? Owls shall dwell there. That's a creature that can survive in the desert. And satyrs, which are what? Lizards, shall dance there. So lizards are going to be here, right? So you want to know how to stop the violence here in the United States of America? And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and their time is near to come. Her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. With that, I'm going to leave off with this scripture right here. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 13. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Because after this wicked kingdom is destroyed, the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be built up off of the slaves that we're going to have as you heathen nations, okay? Because when Yahweh Shai returns, starting with the elect is going to be risen up to glory. They're going to receive crowns. They're going to return back to the earth as kings and priests unto the Lord. And guess what? Chains and shackles is getting slapped on your leaders and any remaining survivors here on earth. And that's really starting with the so-called elites who call themselves Rothschilds and Rockefellers. All these so-called elites and so-called elite banking families, they're all going to be slaves. And the leaders of these other countries, you're all going right into slavery. And guess what? All these heathens that died on this side from the nuclear destruction, you're going to come back through your respective nation. And guess what? You're going right into slavery. You're going to be our slaves, and you're going to build up the kingdom of heaven. And after 1,000 years of serving your sentence of slavery in the kingdom of heaven, guess what? The Edomites are going to be exterminated from off the face of the earth, and you heathens, you're going to get your land back. And guess what? There ain't going to be no more violence in the United States of America. So you want to know how to solve violence in the United States of America? That's how. And it will be done according to biblical prophecy. With that, I'm going to say shalom is on to the next one.